Welcome back, everybody. We're about to hop into our second adventure of the night, so let's jump right into it. Euchaunkas, Bartholomew, you find Bartholomew standing in your trophy room. He's kind of leaning over and polishing one that you had obtained recently. It appears to be a table from, of course, the god Tabulos that you have kind of carved in with the sigil of the cloud. Bartholomew looks up to you. Euchaunkas, it's good to see you. I'm sorry to drop by unannounced, but I was hoping we might speak for a moment.
What do you need of me, wizard?
You see, Euchaunkas, I suppose I don't need too much. It's just, for starters, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I mean, I'm fine, but I wanted to talk about you. We so rarely catch up anymore, or really at all. I'm just curious, are you happy, Euchaunkas?
Yes, I suppose.
Yes, well, you don't need to ask it like a question. If the answer is yes, then I suppose that's all there is to it. And I'm glad to hear it. The Land of DnDTime is, well, it wouldn't be the same without you. So,
correct.
You seem worried. Don't be worried.
I'm not worried. You just usually don't visit me, so I'm assuming you have some sort of angle here.
Selcress. Bartholomew is standing before you within your frozen castle. It's very late at night. His hand outstretches to you, offering a delicious mug of, he speaks to you. The drink, it's hot chocolate. It's not my recipe. It's an old Candy Kingdom one. I picked it up in some of my time here. So, Selcress, I was wondering if there's somewhere we could speak in private. So many servants around over here. Prying eyes and all that.
Okay. What do you want?
A few things. First, he offers you the cup of hot chocolate.
She takes it, sips it really loudly.
It's very good. Do you just kind of like wave your servants away?
Yeah. She'll wave them away.
Well, for starters, I was curious. Are you happy, Selcress?
Are you sick?
I'm sorry if I said something strange.
You're the bastard old man. You don't care if I am happy.
I suppose that's irrelevant, but consider it a business formality. What's the answer to the question?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, I suppose. Again, no confidence in these answers.
What?
Bartholomew, Kurogan. Bartholomew stands before you in Kurogan's. He asks you the same question. How are you really, Kurogan? Are you happy?
Hey, well, there is a lot going on. Well, first of all, what are you doing here?
Well, I just came to visit you.
You'll never do that.
Perhaps I'm just staking out my competition. Kurogan seems to be booming. Really?
Well, yes, but that's just thanks to you.
I suppose so. So tell me, Kurogan, how are you?
Well, all things considered, I am fine.
Very well. Again, so much indecision.
Well, the thing is, life is full of ups and downs. Today might be good, tomorrow might be bad. That is something we must all consider.
But on the whole, good, you'd say.
Well, I don't know. Everything has been pretty neutral from now. If I consider the way I was brought up, I was, almost killed by demons, but I also found the love of my life, and so far things have been even out.
A roller coaster of a life you've had, Kurogan.
Yes.
And you hear him say this as well, as you've all heard all of these statements. Lance, tell me, how are you?
I am doing well. Things have been interesting, to say the least, in recent weeks.
Yes, I suppose things have been a bit busy. I'm glad to see that Alicia was well. Lance, well, your happiness is very important to me as your employer in a lot of ways. I know you've struck out for your own Kurogan, Selcress, Euchaunkas, Lance. I know all of you have, well, established yourself, certainly. But I still think of myself as your employer. Is that fair to say? All of you hear him say at the same time in your own corners of the world.
Is this an insurance thing?
Well, we do work for you. We go on adventures for you, so...
I mean, you're my peon, but... I mean, sure.
There have been some rumblings around that I'm not very good to my adventurers, so I thought if you are not in particularly busy at the moment, we could have something of sort of an employee, sort of a work relations, just kind of a fun day. If you're not busy, of course, any of you.
I mean, the day is pretty much over, but okay.
You want to treat me, do you? I accept.
Oh, splendid. And Kurogan, don't worry about that. Lance, Euchaunkas?
Bartholomew, you know you don't have to make such excuses if you just want to spend some time with your friends. I'm more than happy to accompany you today.
Bartholomew kind of like rubs his head a little bit, looks down. Well, splendid. It'll be good to have you. He looks to you, Euchaunkas.
What, did you hire an HR department? Yeah, sure, I mean...
Yeah, we hired Roger quite a few years ago.
He's HR. I could have been complaining about things to him this entire time.
Everyone else does. In that case, let us not wait around any longer. You see Bartholomew begin stepping out of the room of each of your kind of respective homes. In many of the places where each of you are standing, it is fairly late at night, and you see Bartholomew kind of reach down, look at a pocket watch that he's kind of holding. He stares at it, and you see him just kind of turn it a touch, and it seems to be a very brilliant morning, and the sky just kind of shifts around. Martha's, well, without further ado, let us go.
Did you just change the time?
You all find yourselves, along with Bartholomew, in the Last Hope Tavern. It's a very homey tavern. It's very relaxing, very comfortable. It's a place that many of you have probably spent a non-insubstantial amount of time. Many of Bartholomew's adventurers have near-permanent residences in here, at least 4 that get strongholds, which, I mean, many don't. It's usually a bustling place. Everyone's here and around. But this morning, it's pretty empty. Early in the morning, most people are out doing things. So as you look around the tavern, there's just the crackling of the fire. And you see Roger sitting in the corner, kind of sipping a mug of ale. He looks annoyed, maybe? You're not totally sure. It's kind of hard to read him. But yeah, you and Bartholomew all step forward into the tavern.
So yes, as I mentioned, we'd be meeting a few people. All of you now see, each other still in the space. And I thought we could all just have sort of a fun day out before. If you want to take a seat first. It's good to see all of you together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my friends, by the way.
Hey,
Don't get any ideas.
Oh, I shan't.
Hey, Selcress, you want on my shoulders?
Yes, up.
I put her on my shoulders.
So I have a bit of a busy day planned for all of us. I had something in mind. I thought I'd do something nice for all of you. Like they say, I rarely am overly... Well, I've been called stingy at times. Some people think I have a bit of an attachment to money. I think that they are being a bit mean. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but regardless, I thought I'd do something nice for you. Some of, well, the most venerated and longest time adventurers here in the shop. So, shall we?
I want to insight this.
Go ahead.
He's being really suspicious.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
I don't see it.
He's being very suspicious. This is certainly nothing like a Bartholomew that you've known in a sense. Euchaunkas, the man's face is, you're really taking a look, which you don't usually do. You've gotten used to it, and it is exactly the same as it always is, placid and unreadable. Perhaps the old age and the grumbles.
Lance chooses to believe that Bartholomew is turning over a new leaf.
And speaking of leaves, actually, as you all stand up, as Bartholomew kind of takes the lead, you notice that on the far corner of the tavern, not the corner Roger's sitting in, but the opposite, you see that instead of just a normal wooden corner with some tables and some chairs, as would normally be there, maybe a few decorations on the wall, a hanging sword or what have you, instead you just see bushes. Looks like shrubs, and maybe a couple of small flowers and some vines. And it appears that beyond those in the corner, there may be a larger open space, and that seems to be the direction Bartholomew's starting to lead.
Bartholomew, what is going on here?
Well, I told you I kind of planned something for each of you. Euchaunkas, I thought we'd start with the activity I planned for you. I think it's something you're very much going to enjoy. Roger, are you going to come with us? It should be a fun day.
Yeah, come on, Roger.
Do join if you will.
Roger, opens an eye at Selcress, goading him on. No, I think I'm fine. I'll see y'all when you get back.
Roger, boo!
I give him the dragon stare! Dragon stare!
Come on, join us, Roger.
Yeah, boo, Roger, this is Euchaunkas talking in your head. What the hell is going on?
Roger, look, there are trees and such. There are sure to be birds to watch.
Roger, no, you all have a good time. I have a feeling you won't be doing much bird watching.
Roger, what the hell is happening?
Don't worry about it, Euchaunkas.
If he doesn't want to come, he doesn't want to come. It's fine. We'll have a blast regardless. Like I said,
yeah.
Screw
him.
I think you in particular. Selcress, please.
Yeah. You can just stay here, Roger. Stay here and be sad. And sit there in the corner. You're in timeout now. That's your timeout.
And Bartholomew, yes. Indeed, Roger. Stay in the corner by yourself. Let us all continue. And Bartholomew begins stepping forward, kind of parting. As I was saying, Euchaunkas, I think you will enjoy this quite a great deal. It's just up ahead. You should be able to see the clearing in a moment.
And as you walk forward, you have to start pushing through various shrubs and undergrowth and all of that kind of stuff. It's a lot busier than maybe you expected. And as eventually you come out of the clearing, and you see before you a idyllic theme. The sound of the fire kind of from the tavern kind of dying out in the background. You see shrubberies, large shrubberies shaped in exotic forms. You see very interesting flowers and arranged in beautiful, idyllic ways. You see Florin frolicking in the meadows ahead of you, and the main centerpiece that you notice in this beautiful forest garden is a large effigy of a man with a kind of halo of woven thorns, a very elegant, strong, man-looking man. You recognize him immediately. He is woven, this is not actually him, it's an effigy made of flowers and all sorts of things like that. Lilies, roses, and the likes. But yeah, it's Bloom. You used to be in Bloom's garden.
Why are we here?
That is a wonderful question, Euchaunkas. It has come to my attention that you and Bloom have some... well, certainly I don't think he has any with you, but you do have an issue with him. Bloom, actually, is taking a bit of a holiday as well. He is not around today. Also, I don't believe there are any guards here, so I thought you might enjoy... and he just gestures to the garden, and as he does so, you watch as the palm of his hand just blazes up with a small fireball. Have at you, Euchaunkas.
So that
As you laugh maniacally, a little flower. It looks like a sunflower, but it has the little like skirt of leaves. Frolics over to you. Hello, what are y'all coming to the garden for? Bloom's not here.
Crush it.
Why would you do that? A tulip begins kind of bounding over to you. What? Why? What?
Die, flowers.
Can we participate too?
Oh, yeah.
Please, yes, everyone.
Woohoo! Come on, Levi, let's go!
Burn the heretics.
Kurogan is just standing around with his arms crossed, tapping his foot, looking grouchy.
Well,
yes,
that's unexpected.
Kurogan, lads, I know perhaps not exactly to your particular tastes, although do feel free. Bloom will probably fix it in an instant. I doubt it's all that hard to change back.
In the
Die,
background,
die.
You're tearing a flower in half. Oh God, when I die, I never come back.
You watch as two kind of thorny plants before you, Euchaunkas kind of rise up out of the garden. Both of them appear to be roses. We are the roses that defend this space. You shall not pass, intruder.
I strike them with lightning.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
What?
Or whatever your ability that you're using on them is.
It's called lightning.
Oh yes, roll damage on that. Okay, half damage is enough to slaughter both of them. Both of them just kind of fry.
Die.
Selcress, what are you doing?
She's just throwing around ice eldritch blasts and using flowers for target practice while Levi, goes around and causes mayhem.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some very large, kind of like water lilies that are kind of inflated around the garden in this very beautiful palm that make great kind of ray of frost points to hit. The ray of frost beams kind of blast out and crash into them. They kind of pop and then freeze, making almost their own icy flowers in the air.
No, not the roots! Not the roots, please! You junk! I'll leave in the clouds!
I don't want your kind!
Bartholomew looks over to you, Lance and Kurogan. Are you sure you don't want to participate? It's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime.
I have no interest in burning daisies and flowers of any kind.
Yes,
I can't exactly condone it, but I mean, they do seem to be having quite a bit of fun. Bloom will be able to fix this, right?
Oh, wave of a hand, god of flowers. I mean...
Lance, as you look to your left, you see a small, untouched pond where there are a group of lilies kind of dancing around. La 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 la, splash! And they're splashing each other and having a good time. Wow, this is the greatest day ever!
Hey,
You're
lads!
about 10 feet away. Euchaunkas hasn't gotten around to him yet.
Hey, lads! I see an anthill over there.
I will immediately try to warn the lilies kind of freeze up and try to see this anthill.
Very good. You go over warn the lilies. What do you say to them?
Oh, hello!
Hi! You might want to keep that down once again. Your lilies, you can stay underwater. Just lay low.
Making you jealous with all
Trust
our
me on
fun?
this.
Why should we be quiet when we're so overburdened with joy?
You're going to be overburdened with many other things. Just trust me on this. I have a thing I must attend to. Just
Oh, look, there's a lizard coming over.
Go ahead and make a
Get down.
persuasion. Go ahead and make a persuasion check, Lance.
ha! Little did you know, persuasion is Lance's speciality.
Oh.
Ah,
Oh.
Look, a lizard. Hi, Mr. Lizard.
I
Oh,
zap
hi.
the pond.
The lilies all just kind of seize up and wilt and fall away. Over on the over on the other side of the garden, you hear kind of a voice, kind of a booming out towards you, Euchaunkas. Why are you doing this? Why? And you see what appears to be, it's a very narrow and tall tree that has a kind of a nice big space cleared out around it.
Are you that tree god?
No, I am not a tree god. I was planted by Bloom. I've been
Oh,
growing
right.
here for 1,000 years.
I bite it.
Whoa! He just calls out in a howl, which eventually, with a sudden crack of wood, is stopped as the tree is split in half.
Pete, how large would you say this tree is?
I would say this tree is about 20 feet tall, but very thin.
Would you consider it like an awakened tree, perhaps?
One could say.
Okay. Well, Euchaunkas, if you want... Oh, it's a huge plant. It's just a little too big to swallow in one bite.
Oh.
If you want, you can break it in half, though.
Oh yeah, I'll break it in half and eat it in 2 bites.
It tastes terrible. It's a plant, not meat.
Yeah, but I mean,
Get in your roughage.
it's destroyed.
Yo, that's certainly true.
I have to eat rocks occasionally to digest my food, so...
At this point, you see Bartholomew. Ah, very good. Lance Kurogan, you don't mind. I mean, it's already ashes, so I might as well cut loose a bit too. Kind of cracks his knuckles. Any qualms, or are you guys good here?
Ooh, do a big fire thing.
Yes, we can perhaps do one of those. Euchaunkas, Bartholomew kind of looks up at the sky, and you see over in the corner, just a large. The garden is fairly expansive, and you see now kind of just a distant point up in the heavens, and slowly moving down. There was no visible sign of casting, but you see a meteor plummeting towards the earth over in the corner of the garden.
This feels right.
Would you care perhaps to take a few steps back and maybe just watch from the distance? There's a great spot up on that hill over there.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to sprout wings and, well, my armor is gonna go around me and then I sprout wings and fly over.
Yep, excellent. Kurogan, you hop up on the hill.
Yeah, as you all make your way over to the hill, you, Lance, maybe begrudgingly make your way over to the hill.
Selcress is on my... Selcress is on my, shoulders.
Your shoulders. It sounds
Yeah.
like you're kind of getting into it, Kurogan, a little
I'm not, no, Kurogan's
Okay.
just the one to die from a giant meteor.
You hear, and first you see the meteor crash and slam into the ground, and then you feel the ground quake and shake, and then you're hit with just the wave of just force and debris as about a quarter of the garden was just crushed beneath this massive chunk of stone.
I'm shielding, Selcress from the impact so she doesn't get blown away.
Something will have to grab onto your ears to hold on.
Yes,
Ow, ow, ow.
do brace yourselves. The wind that it kicks up is usually a lot. Yeah, the garden is devastated in this moment.
Fires blaze. You see a distinct lack of life. Miraculously, the effigy of Bloom in the very center appears to have avoided most of the carnage. Just a small flame, kind of an ember, not even any more than that, blows on the wind from the meteor and lands at its feet. And ever so slowly, this effigy begins to burn. And in but a few moments, it is a vaguely man-shaped pyre in the middle of this now desecrated garden. Half of a sunflower is attempting to crawl out of the debris. Please, somebody help me!
That does hurt a bit. Euchaunkas, please.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I go over and crush it into the ground.
Very good. Well, it was fun. Good to get the blood pumping before we warm up. Shall we move on to the next activity? I thought we might. I thought we might try yours next, Selcress. If
Yes. Let's go.
very well. Is everyone else ready?
Yes.
Before we go through, Lance is going to scrape Sorry and Celestial in the ground, kind of away from everyone, and yes, quite right.
Kurogan's also leaving like a note saying Bartholomew's gone insane. Send help.
Euchaunkas carves in Celestial into the ground. You're next, and then
Like that horse head in the bed thing.
Euchaunkas.
I actually do it.
I don't carve it into the ground. I do it with dead flowers.
I do it in Draconic.
Oh, that's brutal. Bartholomew kind of pats you on the back. Euchaunkas, and you were skeptical. Shall we move on?
I suppose.
Yes.
Let's go.
Further and further, does they say?
My turn.
But as you all agree and eagerly like jump up and down, yeah. Exhaustion kind of comes over you. And you find yourselves just kind of lying down and, there's this beautiful pile of flower petals I can rest my head on that are only slightly singed, and you find yourselves falling fast asleep.
I think I know where we're going.
When you awaken, you find yourselves in, well, it's a place that some of you, I'm sure you've all visited actually at one point or another. It appears to be a location within the Plane of Dreams, specifically the Dreamwalker Monastery area. But you can see that things have been set up here in a way that, you haven't really seen before. You've seen the iron sheep pens in the past, but you haven't seen, or the iron wool sheep, you haven't seen the plethora, the menagerie of other exotic dream creatures that appear to be in abundance all throughout the area. Of course, you see the talking dogs. They're all just kind of hanging around. They seem to be eagerly awaiting you. Some of them are talking with some of the Dreamwalkers. You see some other strange, bizarre creatures, such as inflatable balloon beings, a giraffe, just a regular giraffe, which is still pretty cool, and all other manner of crazy, even Underdark creatures. The things of Selcress, your dreams, all congregated into one area.
And Bartholomew speaks up. Yes, I was informed not long back by Soam that you did take perhaps one that you wouldn't always admit, but a liking to some of the iron wool sheep and the fluffier things here. This is a petting zoo that we have arranged here for you. You're welcome to go into any of the enclosures. All of the animals will be completely harmless.
Selcress is gone. She's vanished from Kurogan's shoulders, and she's inside one of the pens already.
There's like an outline of where she was that's just blinking.
I've never been here.
She's petting the iron wool sheep first and burying her face in it, just completely.
You watch as a talking dog kind of moves up to you. It seems to be just a tiny little dachshund. Hey there, you're Selcress, right?
You bet I am. Do you worship me?
Yeah. Also, could you maybe pat me on the head?
Yeah, you're a good peon dog. She just pats him on the head.
Thank you very much, Selcress.
Gives him scritches behind his ears as well.
Yeah, that's just like it. I like it. Yeah, that's the best. Selcress, I don't mean to stop you. I know you got lots of things to pet, and I do appreciate you petting me and all these other talking dogs here. And several other talking dogs. We're gonna... Oh, please.
Go ahead. I was just saying, in the background, a little Yorkshire Terrier at the bowler cap walks over to you, Euchaunkas. Oh, hello. Do you mind giving me some scratches? He takes off his hat.
I look at Bartholomew. Can I eat these?
Don't let.
If you didn't.
That's probably a no-go.
Okay. Little Yorkshire Terrier thing. I pick it up. Where do I find Eddie Cougar?
He kind of like looks. It's the back.
You're on the wrong plane. You need to plane of nightmares.
I'm gonna go look for him. Good dog thing.
Bark.
I scratch it behind the ear and put it down and go try.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
The dog says to you, Selcress, we can give you a guide around. Feel free to pet me anytime you want. I'd certainly appreciate it. And also,
Okay.
I can show you anything you want to see. Just ask.
All right, let's go. Show me the fluffiest thing you got in here.
Oh, well, that'd probably be the floof. And he starts walking you.
The floof?
He starts walking you over in a direction down the way. What's everyone else up to?
Kurogan is following, close behind Selcress, keeping his eye open. He's still super suspicious.
Lance
He
is
rolled a
happy.
4 on his insight. He's super suspicious now.
Kurogan, please, I bid you, relax. And he looks at you with just like, he just looks at you and says that, Kurogan, relax.
There is no
Kurogan!
relaxing when I am in foreign territory.
Kurogan, go pet an iron sheep right now. Stick your face in
He's
it.
actually already putting an iron sheep. This is something I do in normal. This is like normal sheep to me because my scales are already metallic. There's a little bit of a static shock between the two.
Yeah, some sparks kind of. Oh, very well. Well, I do hope you take the opportunity to enjoy yourself, even if I can tell you're a bit on edge. Lance?
Selcress, as you're walking, you do unfortunately moving toward the floof. You get, I think, probably distracted as you walk by the baby iron sheep pen. There's just a bunch of tiny, like knee-high.
There's another Selcress outline. when the talking dog looks back, he hasn't gotten a scratch in a while.
Yeah, whatever
She's
you.
just with the baby.
Yeah, whatever you need to do. They climb all over you. They're sheep, but they definitely act very dog-like in these baby ironwool sheep that just kind of like essentially tackle you and form a sheep pile.
This is the best.
Kurogan is taking mental pictures. He just has his fingers up to his eyes. So like,
Don't you
ting,
take mental
ting,
pictures
ting.
of me. Better delete those when we're out of here. It's just a dream. It did happen.
Lance, what are you up to?
Lance is following along, holding one of the small talking dogs, a little white one, just scratching it and fluffing.
Excellent. In that case, as you continue on the way, that talking dog looks up at you. Oh yeah, that's the stuff right there. Dog is very small, has a very deep voice. Yeah, thank you very much. Your name was Lance, right? I'm supposed to be a tour guide. I'm fine if you just want to pet me, though. We don't have to do any touring or anything.
Sounds good to me. We'll just follow
Yeah,
them.
walk around, see the sights. Make sure you keep right under the neck, right there. Great.
Right there?
Selcress reappears by her talking dog guide's side with her eyes sparkling and goes, the floof.
Very well. Yeah, we can bring you to the floof right away. And you come to an enclosure. Well, that right there is right there is the floof. And what you're looking at, it looked like you were just kind of looking at a pink ball of cotton that's just very big. It's about 10 feet, but you see as some sound kind of appears near it. You hear something like a kind of come from it, and it rights itself up, and it just looks like a massive circle of fluff with kind of just like two kind of beady black eyes around the top of it, and then its arms just appear to be kind of like tiny little circles, and the floof ball itself just kind of like rolls up to the edge of the pen towards you, and it just looks down at you.
Selcress very tentatively and cautiously reaches out a hand towards it to feel the
Sure.
floof.
your hand just like sinks into the floof. It's like the lightest pillow you've ever touched.
All right, she jumps inside of it.
And you are surrounded by floof. It is warm and it is comfortable. And the floof inside of it actually sounds like the inside of its belly is making almost some like very light kind of soothing music. Like this was something that a child probably dreamed at night once to like help put them to sleep, or was like told about by a parent. And as you're kind of laying this the floof, you can almost just hear just a soft lullaby being sung to you.
This is the stuff. I need to get one of these for my castle back home.
An incredibly tall talking dog outside of the pen heads over to the rest of you.
Hello. Would any of you like to ride the bipedal elephants?
Yes!
For what?
Oh, a bunch of elephants. They walk around on 2 legs. They fly through the air.
Well, that's just weird.
Kurogan, help me! I'm stuck in the floof!
I help Selcress out of the floof.
We also have the long-haired spiders and... Oh,
Spiders! Take me to the spiders! Take me to them now!
Alright.
Kind of leads the way. He trods down the path, which is fairly short. It may be an aspect of the dream realm, but it seems you don't have to walk very far to get wherever you want to get.
Yeah, Selcress just has like a tiny floof piece on her head, a tiny pink floof piece stuck to her hair.
Kurogan's gonna fashion it into a floof hat.
A floof bow, thank you.
A floof bow. Yes.
Yeah, you come to an area filled, it looks actually a little cave, and inside you see a whole bunch of little tiny eyes open up, and Selcress, you can see in no problem. They're just long-haired spiders. Some of them are kind of floofed up like poodles. Other ones have long curly hair. Others have very straight hair that kind of flows around them. But yeah, they're just all sorts of large, fancy spiders.
Come here, little spiders. Come here. And she just starts petting them. And, like, it's covered in spiders now, much like how she was covered in baby iron wool, except this one's vaguely creepier to anyone who doesn't love spiders.
The spiders lick you. It's cute.
At the back of the space, Euchaunkas, where you have been kind of directed off, you kind of come to just basically the enclosure is just, you see Eddie Cougar kind of sitting in a chair. And he's just wearing a striped shirt, this kind of dream tabaxi with a big kind of like pockmarked face and long claws and kind of his fedora on, and he looks over at you. Welcome to the nightmare.
Ah, my good friend Eddie.
I gotta say that every 5 minutes I'm on the clock.
I understand. So, how's it going? We haven't talked much because I don't sleep well. I don't dream, really.
I mean, you can see how business is. And he looks around, kind of left and right at the situation that he's in. To the side of him, you see a pen. It seems to be filled with pigs, but the pigs' tails, like, swirl out really far, and their eyes are, like, a little bit too big and very, like, doughy. And then to his left, you see there's a pen. It looks like a cat, but it's walking kind of on 2 legs and reading a book, but not a cat in the way that Eddie Kruger is.
You know, Eddie, I will hire you in whatever dream currency there is to kill heretics in their sleep.
Yeah, time to cash out, bitch. And he goes over and tries to, sorry, I also have to do the whole bitch. I don't even like it anymore. It feels like it's become rote, but I am required to say it.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
Oh wait, how long has it been? Welcome to the nightmare. Yeah, okay, so, let's talk contracts.
All right.
Steps aside with you.
I make dream paper or whatever.
Yeah.
I assume that's something I can just do.
You see, as the rest of you kind of are looking around, Selcress, you've, I assume, had your fill with the spiders?
Yes,
Looking
for
out
now.
the next adorable
One
thing.
can sit on my head as we go around.
Yeah, oh, little tiny one, just like, it's got very big eyes, disproportionately large eyes for its cute spider body. Excellent.
Perfect.
So as you're all kind of walking around, you see a handful of other people here. I mean, you see the Dreamwalker monks, obviously, who are attending. But you also see one figure that really stands out. It is a very vibrant pink owl bear, wearing a bit of a top hat and a monocle. He's just walking around, also looking at the other creatures. I don't know if you care about the owlbear or not, but he's just
Bartholomew, can I pet the owlbear?
Oh, yes, yes, absolutely. Please do.
As you walk over, the owlbear looks at you. Oh, hello. I'm Owly.
Hi! She just pets him.
Starts
petting him.
Oh, it tickles.
Bartholomew looks to you, Lance and Kurogan. Lance, we're probably going to be finishing up here pretty soon. I thought we might, move about, to your, the thing I planned for you next. If you are all ready to go, I'm sure Selcress wants a few more moments with Owly. It's one of the highlight attractions that we've gotten here. And Kurogan, I think... Oh, please.
The thing about a tickle is the tickle's so fickle, as in when you're tickling me. Because when you tickle and then you walk away, the tickle proverbially flees.
I'm over it. Let's go.
Very well. Kind of walks over, walks into the spider pen. Hello?
Very good. In that case, everyone gather around. Euchaunkas, stop talking to the nightmare cat.
What? Oh, sorry, bitch.
We're going.
Rubbing off.
Welcome to the nightmare.
Yeah, welcome to the nightmare.
Welcome to the nightmare.
Welcome to the nightmare.
Wait,
I'm just looking at them all like, what the fuck?
Kurogan, you
one last pet for the sign cheek.
Thank you very much. Pet him one last on the cheek, let him down. Kurogan, well, this is Lance's, but you need to relax for certain, so it might help you too. Lance, I've noticed, there's lots of static electricity in the air. Your beard, I know you take great pride in it, and your mustache to a degree, has got it a little bit frazzled. I thought I might bring you to my favorite barbershop.
Oh my, that does sound quite nice.
And Bartholomew, with a snap, you awaken from your sudden slumber. You open your eyes, but you're not lying on the hill that you were lying on where you went to bed. No, you find yourselves instead lying. First of all, a lot of your armor and things is gone. You're not wearing it right now. Instead, you're lying on what feels like a wooden bed, maybe wooden table. And then you feel a hitting feeling on your back, but it's very nice. And it's very steamy and it's warm, and it appears that you're currently getting a massage. Your head's resting on a very soft white pillow, and you look over and you see each other. You've got towels over yourselves and such, but yeah, it appears that you're in some sort of a spa. You see Bartholomew, which I'll say Bartholomew's beard hanging over the side of the table. He's not wearing his hat.
So I'd let loose. The hat's sitting over to his side. His robes are still on. So relaxing. Yeah, as you now amidst this day spa. You see, Lance, like I said, it's a barbershop mostly. It's entirely run by chords. The thing they're most known for is their ability to manipulate hair, but they also, perhaps the most possible relaxing experience that one could have is here at the Chord Hair Salon. So please kick back. The barbershop experience, so we'll do shave and a haircut if you're interested. Anyone else? I know there's not a lot of people here with hair, or at least not all of you have hair, but there's a number of other options as well. I believe there's some mud bathing. There's certainly a number of refreshments available if you talk to any of the associates, of course, all already paid for.
I want something that says, future ruler of the entire world.
Excuse me, you over there. Could you help my My associate Selcress here.
You see this strange elemental creature, fey creature, really. It's very stony and rocky, has a very long, kind of almost dreadlocked beard of hair. Somewhat squat, but about as size as you, maybe a little larger, Selcress. Kind of walks over and says something in a language, primordial specifically, a dialect primordial to Bartholomew. There's a quick translation, and he looks at you and just kind of nods. And says in a kind of broken common, "We can do that."
Yes, if you would just accompany this individual, Selcress,
Okay.
please. There's also, I believe, there's some mud baths. I don't know if I mentioned the mud baths. They can do the thing where they put the cucumbers on your eyes. I never got it, but if that's something that you're into, you can absolutely have that done. All manner of massages. There's also some games, I believe. They have a bit of a lounge with some. They're nothing crazy. There's, I think, shuffleboard they have here.
Kurogan's
Kurogan?
going over to the mud bath and not letting anyone touch him, but he's derobing and just getting in and kind of warming the mud himself.
Yeah, the mud was definitely warm when you get in, but nowhere Kurogan warm.
Nowhere near enough.
And there's even perhaps a light boil about it as you kind of seep in and you're kind of. Do you breathe fire into it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A light boil it comes to, and you just sink back and relax. You watch as kind of what seems like a small face sprite flies over to you. Is there anything that I can get for you to help and heighten your experience more? A drink, cucumbers.
Unless
for
you
your
can
eyes?
bring my fiance to me, there is nothing you can do.
That is outside of my power.
Then I need nothing else.
Very well. Very good. The door kind of closes to the room that you're in, Kurogan, and a few moments later, the door kind of reopens, and you see walking in your fiance. What is her name?
Gamora.
What does Gamora look like?
She is a half-orc, built like a barbarian.
Built like Kurogan.
Yes.
Incredibly strong. All
yes.
Right, Gamora walks in, and she speaks to you, which I won't do Gamora's voice at this time, but Gamora speaks to you. Some wizard just appeared. You talked about Bartholomew before, essentially, is what she says. He just appeared and told me you wanted to see me. Is this some kind of early wedding gift?
You can call it that. Come, Gamora, sit with me.
All right, and your particular room in the spa is left in just kind of peace. Euchaunkas, I think you were about to say something.
I cough out my fake beard and put it on.
Very good. The massages are nice, but shall we get to the main event?
I've been waiting for you to say that.
Very good, very good. We're ready.
With a spin, you find yourself sitting in down a long line of very nice swiveling chairs. These Korrids, there are several of them around you, each wielding different straight razors. They look at you as if in taking in every bit of your essence and being before nodding toward each other and getting to work. You feel the beautiful, close shave as the blade cuts close, right down to the very root of your hair. The smoothest shave you've ever felt, like a baby's bottom. Nothing is smoother than this, perhaps in the entirety of the land of D&D. You feel your features expertly shaped to precisely what you could have, not beyond what you could have ever even imagined. It's always an incredibly relaxing experience. Even the cream and the shaving cream they use is warm and clutches your cheeks like the hands of a lover.
For the aftershave today, I'll go with confusion, lavender, and perhaps a touch of mahogany.
The barbers nod, absolutely, without needing an explanation, begin to throw things to each other as they begin to apply these various different things to Bartholomew. And Bartholomew's starting to look like good, which is weird for Bartholomew, at least in all of your experiences. You must not do this often. One of them looks appraisingly at you, Euchaunkas, and what do you do?
Have at it.
Scale shine.
Sure. Can you make the fake beard bigger?
We can make it a real beard.
Of course I can make the fake beard bigger. They're hair wizards.
Sure, either one.
And they go to town using their own kind of prehensile beards to shave and cut your fake beard to an actual longer length, much more well maintained. It almost looks like think of like the I can't remember his name, the dragon from Mulan. Mushu. They're giving you like a Mushu. And they're holding up the mirror and they're like, how do you like it?
Yes, and my scales are very shiny. Yes.
Absolutely. They get to work.
Selcress, in the room where you are, it is, they've been kind of created for you, almost a very fine sauna, but it's not like super hot. Instead, it's like sort of a nice kind of icy cool, a cold sauna, if you will. And
Sure.
there are just like 30 or 40 different just kind of pixies in the space, flying around you, kind of putting flowers and different like things in your hair, like providing you drinks. Like 7 of them are just devoted to kind of fanning you. All of them are just kind of calling you like Lady Selcress. A lot of them just Your Majesty. And at one point you just hear over this, you just hear Bartholomew call out from the other room, Selcress, do you want a fake beard?
I'm fine. I'm being pampered.
Thought I'd offer. Yes.
Lance, sorry, go ahead.
No, after you, please.
Well, Lance, at this point, the Chords, they've been appraising and looking at you and thinking for a very long time. There's been a lot of mutter back and forth. You can tell they're trying to think of the optimal way for your prismatic mustache to work with the rest of your features. And eventually one of them walks up to you.
You appear to be a man of great fashion. Do you have any particular notes? Anything for us to focus on?
Just a hit of Midnight's Breeze, heavy cream, and a dash of ecstasy. I'm sure you can handle the rest.
Absolutely. Wait, you're that Silverblood.
That I am.
And the Chord kind of pulls out, tangled in their beard, a little amulet in the shape of a crescent moon. Kind of just gives you a nod.
There are quite a few of us.
And
A pleasure to meet you.
they begin to get to work in a very similar way described earlier. Your skin caressed the blade, not a blade, but a sculptor's tool, forming you to your most perfect self. And after mere moments, you smell the midnight breeze. You can feel the ecstasy as you rub your own hands against your now impeccable beard. And as you look at yourself in the mirror, you see your prismatic mustache precisely as it was. And you will it to change color, and it changes, as do any of your features. As you seem to be able to control your eyebrows, everything.
All right.
I'll make a few very minor tweaks.
Oh, absolutely, of course. How could we have been so foolish?
They do precisely as you asked.
There we go. Excellent. You're truly masters of this craft.
Kind of nod and look toward Bartholomew.
Yes, very good. Thank you so much for your help. You're always masters. What's it been, 983 since I've been back here? It's always good to see you all again. And he hands them what appears to be a fairly sizable coin purse.
They jingle it, open it up, take out a huge wad of Bartholomew bucks, put it back in, close it up.
Very good. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling quite relaxed. Kurogan, I imagine you rejoin your
Yes.
Gamora.
Eventually I do. And my scales are very shiny. My armor is my golden scales are for my armor are also very shiny.
Selcress may have dozed off in the pantry.
It may have been several hours that you've been here. Kind of hard to tell. Maybe even the whole day. Time flies when you do.
Yes, I suppose it is getting a bit late.
They brought me a heat lamp.
Yes, pretty much anything you want here. And you look at Bartholomew's beard, which has been like beautifully braided, and his hair, which is now back, and dare I say suave. You already watch as one of the hairs in his beard just kind of like ding, and kind of like unfurls and just becomes straggly and is kind of sticking out. Yes, Kurogan, the last event I've prepared is for you. It may be a touch dangerous. I don't know if Gamora will be able to join us.
I have already sent her home.
Good. I hope you don't mind that I called her up and invited her. One of the attendants mentioned that was what you'd prefer.
It was, and I appreciate it.
Not a
Very
problem.
good. Look at all the flowers and stuff. And look, I am pampered properly.
Selcress, is that you?
Yeah.
She just looks so different.
I mean, I imagine Selcress in like a beautiful like silk dress with excellent not engraved, but like silver threaded spider webbing patterns and ice motifs and all of the whole shebang.
Oh yes, that's definitely her then.
Very
That's
good.
what it is. You forgot your crown.
Yeah, that's true.
We should have that for you soon. But for now, I have just, the next event I have planned is, again, I had planned something for you, Kurogan. If you would join me as he steps up over to the door, and before he walks through it, snaps his fingers.
Yes, of course. If it's dangerous, I'm actually activating the armor right now.
Well, as Bartholomew snaps his fingers, you don't teleport as you kind of expect. Instead, the whole doorway just is gone. The door is gone. And looking beyond it, you hear chirping and a cool gust of wind. And looking beyond, it appears to be the peak of some tall mountain. You all step through, and looking down, you can see far below the cloud level. Euchaunkas is the place that is most holy. It is above the lesser clouds, but below the true cloud, the true upper clouds. Though today seems to be a relative cloud night. It is somewhat chilly. The bitter cold wind is. It would be a bother for just a moment. One of you notices, Lance, you see Bartholomew's eye twitch, and suddenly the wind and the cold don't seem to bother you quite. As you look into the empty, open sky above, you see stars. Thousands and thousands of stars, constellations and forms you have never seen before. And then you see a single shooting star.
Yes. You see that up there? As the star tracks slowly across the sky. Everyone, please direct your attention. It is said that dragons, when they, when dragons get older, everyone knows that they grow more powerful. They grow more intelligent, dangerous. Well, for thousands and thousands of years, that does remain true, but there reaches a point in a dragon's life, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, where it stops to a degree. I do not know if it is senility, perhaps, or some other drive, but these eternal dragons is what I call them. Not a lot of people know about them, you see. But these eternal dragons, they're about as old as I am. And every couple centuries or so, they make their great migrations across the heavens. That speck of light that you see up there, it is, well, countless of them. I would say the last I checked their herd was in the numbers of 45, or I guess countless is the wrong word, 45 or 50 of them, all metallic dragons. If you look closer, you'll be able to see. There's some points of brass, some of gold and of silver. Well, in their senility, they follow this one path, and they don't pay much attention to what's going on around them. So they can be ridden, and they won't mind. As Bartholomew just points up at this speck of light up in the heavens. Shall we?
To ride dragons across the sky. You know I can fly, right?
Yes, but you haven't seen this particular view yet.
All right, then. We should get off, then.
Let's go!
And Kurogan, Bartholomew kind of gestures to you, and please, you'll have to rise to meet them, I believe.
I crack my neck. The armor goes over my face, allowing me to breathe in space. Cough, cough. And the wings sprout from my back. I put 2 points into it so I can have the 60 feet advantage.
You hear inside of your suit. Good evening, Kurogan. Going up?
Yes, that is correct. Selcress, would you like to join me?
Can I breathe up there?
Bartholomew. Oh, yes. Don't worry about that.
Okay, let's go.
Just some of my armor spreads to her.
Yes.
She just gets a little Selcress suit.
Excellent.
It's like a backpack, essentially.
Euchaunkas, Lance, do you have any means?
No.
None that come to mind.
Well, we'll go with a good old-fashioned fly. And he snaps his fingers, and both of you are able to alight.
You find yourselves flying up first slowly, as 60 feet every 6 seconds is not quite the speed you want to go to reach. But as you travel, your momentum begins to build, impossibly so. And before you can really even comprehend it, you look toward each other, all flying somewhat in unison, and you see each other's forms and your own streaks of light lancing through the night sky behind you. And as you approach this mass of dragons, Bartholomew mentioned, this star, this shooting star, it begins to get larger, and you begin to tell, to some degree, the many different. But then you get closer, and you think they're small because they're so far away. But then you are still so far away, and they continue to grow in massive size. And within a few minutes, you find yourself approaching this herd of absolutely gargantuan metallic golden dragons flying through the night sky. Their kind of droopy tendrils around their mouths, sweeping back, flowing behind them, gracefully, with no urgency or anything else. A lazy night's fly. The sounds of the earth and the crickets all away below. You see the large, majestic, triangular wings of the copper dragons beating almost like a manta ray as it flies to the sky. And it's in this moment that you realize, and you fully comprehend, not even fully, you begin to comprehend, you're flying with dragons.
Yes. Now, this is a bit of a tricky part, you see. As we get closer, and you can see we're in the herd now, make sure you kind of gather around close. Their bodies are immense, and if they crash into you, you will die. I'll bring you back, but you won't be here anymore, and you'll be at the shop, so don't get too close. Now, if we want to ride them, we're going to have to edge up a bit on top. It's not necessarily easy to mount onto the to hop onto the heads, but I recommend the view. I recommend the view from the gold dragon's ear scales. It's one of the highest. Also, the way the ears kind of flow in the breeze. It's an experience. Bartholomew says, looking perhaps even a bit flustered himself. His beard, that was just so beautifully arranged, is now once again an absolute wreck. His hair also just almost a perfect straight line behind him from the immensity of the speed at which you currently travel.
I want to go on the ear, Kurogan.
Let's go. He's taking this as a personal challenge.
And Kurogan, as you begin to approach this gold dragon, its wings so massive they could crush small town just with a single beat. And you begin maneuvering your way, whizzing around its wings, around even its fingers thicker than your torso. You've always been the great and powerful. And in this moment, you found a creature, perhaps, that could challenge that.
For now.
Lance, Euchaunkas, what are the two of you doing?
I'll try and get on a dragon.
One particular, all of the various metallic dragons are there. Is there one that you aim for?
I guess a gold.
Up with Kurogan? Or are you just gonna try and hop on the back?
Is there a bronze?
Yes, absolutely.
I'll go
There's
for the bronze.
All right. Bartholomew says, yes, I'll accompany you. Lance. He looks to you, Lance. What's your play?
I suppose I will see if I can't find a spot on one of the silvers.
But of course, you begin taking off over towards one of the silver dragons as you roll around kind of in the air. So like I mentioned, the approach is tricky. And Bartholomew, for Bartholomew, it just looks like he just kind of flies up and lands on top of just the back. Kind of an easy angle that he's going at of the copper dragon that you were going for, Euchaunkas.
Bronze.
You said bronze? Okay, my bad. Of the bronze dragon. That's my mistake. Hop on up. These things, some of them are bigger than Bill.
Not for long. Chuck says, staring off in the distance, he just sees like a small planet disappear.
Yes, you hear from deep kind of, as you move upwards, I need you to make me, this is just going to be an acrobatics or athletics check, your pick.
Okay. Ooh.
As you go and kind of move up onto the dragon, you see there's just kind of a slight swish in its body, and as you get closer to it, it's so much more massive than you. But the way it kind of specifically the bronze dragon kind of slithers in the air to a degree, just the outside of it just crashes into the side of you, and you go spiraling downwards, kind of plummeting through the space, as Bartholomew had previously mentioned. It is not easy to kind of climb aboard one of these things. Lance, athletics?
Lance will give a quick little prayer as he flies in as gracefully as...
Lance, you kind of fly upwards, and you too, as you move as you move up and kind of reach the side of the silver dragon. The silver dragon's kind of flying pattern, the way its arms kind of move through the space in front of it, it almost looks like it's like swimming to a degree. Its wings just out kind of perfectly straight and flat. You go to grab onto one of them and then maybe climb across, but the immense kind of speed and the motion of the wings sends you hurtling away. Kurogan. Not athletics?
Acrobatics is actually his better stat.
No kidding.
No way.
Oh man.
No one would believe that, but he's got a 6 in acrobatics and a 5 in athletics.
Alright, so you begin kind of like going up, and as you're kind of flying forward, the ear, the outside of it, as you go to like land on top of it, one of the more kind of challenging points on this gold dragon, it just kind of like smacks you right in the armor, and you go kind of like hurling and kind of ricocheting backwards a little bit as you're realizing that this is perhaps more of a challenge than it may have initially seemed.
The dragons, however, do not seem to have recognized, noticed, or even acknowledged you. Seems an accidental series of hits.
Indeed. Bartholomew, you might need to come up with a strategy. Mine is to fly up and land on top, but whatever works for all of you.
I mean, I'm
try
also
that.
flying, so...
Everyone's flying, yeah.
Give it
Yeah.
a shot, Kurogan. Fly up.
I'm gonna take a rope
Yep.
and tie it in a hoop.
Okay. And try
So
and
if I
lasso
fail
the
this,
end.
yeah, basically, if I fail this one, I'll lasso it so I can have something to latch onto.
The gold
all right.
dragons do have those large golden horns that kind of poke out from the tops and sides of their heads, just below their kind of droopy, almost mustachioed mustache things. So yeah, you go ahead.
Go ahead and make an attack roll with your you could just use whatever your weapon is, and we'll just say that that's the
I got it, guys. It's fine.
Kurogan doesn't like losing.
Kurogan, you get thrown backwards, but as you roll around in the air out of a barrel roll, you definitely feel the hit, but then the lasso flies outwards and wraps expertly around the horn, and with a single yank and a pull, you just drag yourself in one fell kind of like right up to the head of the gold dragon.
And then we swing into the ear.
And you swing
You
into
just
the air.
kind of step out onto the ear almost.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
The horn.
Selcress
almost
is on
working
his head.
Yeah, Selcress on your shoulders. The horn almost works as like a handhold, right? You can wrap your entire body and almost reach your arms on the other side. It's very large. But as you flow through the night sky, the rhythm of its movement, the beating of its wings, it is a majesty that you yourself have maybe not consciously known, but you yearned for in your dream. You've always craved this one feeling, this absolute freedom. This
I
immense
close my eyes and just feel all of this.
and the coldness of space, and even the feeling of Selcress on your shoulders just kind of falls away. You are free. Euchaunkas and Lance?
Seeing Kurogan's great success, I will employ the aid of my little belt, as I'll put a bit of rope around his waist and see if I can't get my little brass man to get a hold on the dragon and reel me in.
So you're gonna just say, let's have the little brass man do it?
I mean, I'll try to get in there. He's more of a last-ditch effort.
Okay,
Probably.
sure.
I will yet again try to give that sweet, sweet prayer to not fail. Get in good, can't be looking bad after Kurogan got it off so smoothly, and
You go and you go to throw little brass man, he just doesn't get it. He just gets whacked by one of the wings. This ancient silver dragon, beyond ancient, this aeonic silver dragon flying through the stars. A beat of its wings, a movement of its long frill that passes down its neck and back. And the brass man just he seems to be floating through space. He's still tied onto your rope, but his head seems to have twisted around backwards, and he seems kind of broken right now. You might need to put him back together during a short rest.
Euchaunkas, you give it another shot?
I'm going to try and use Thunderwave to course correct, though.
Ooh.
I don't know. Does that do anything for me?
I'd say it's an advantage at the very least.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 13.
Alrighty.
I'm just trying to get on, for the
And you're
record.
going with the bronze, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So as you cast your as you fly up toward the bronze dragon, the head is a particularly dangerous spot, as it has a great number of massive black horns that come out almost like a ridge around, protecting its neck. And as you get kind of you don't actually get hit, but you get kind of blown off course as a gust of cloud, actually, of space cloud, blows you a little bit away, but it gives you a beautiful sight of the long ridge that runs down its back as well, much more arched. You use this moment of inspiration, an obvious target, and with your thunderstep, find yourself wrapped around the tip of one of its spiky frills. It's a very difficult thing to maintain, but you're holding on to it, kind of getting swung around a little bit.
And at this point, Bartholomew calls out, Lance, let me get you into position. Want me to teleport you up?
If it's no trouble to you, Bartholomew, that would be appreciated.
No problem, this is terrifying. And he snaps his fingers, and you find yourself, per the teleport spell, all of a sudden resting on top of the silver dragon's head. Euchaunkas, you are kind of made stable in the same kind of teleport. I don't want any of you to miss. This is sort of my favorite part. It's the roar. They all roar in unison. It's incredible. His voice just kind of booming, magically projected over kind of the roar of space around you, and in that moment, you all begin to hear, in this kind of Zen moment here on top of these dragons, this deep tone. It emerges first from the gold dragon that is at the kind of the pack's head, where Kurogan, you and Selcress are, and you hear it less in your ears and more in your stomach, as this deep tone just kind of reverberates and kind of fills your body, and soon this kind of tone is incanted throughout the dragon flight here, as all of these dragons create a bassy but beautiful, almost chord. There's no dissonances among them. They all resonate perfectly. And as that sound swells, you begin to hear it pick up like tuning forks, the edges of their kind of spike frills and their wings, the various scales, higher notes, creating just a perfect tone.
And as this tone rings through the night sky, Kurogan, for just an instant, the deep rumble shaking you from this state, you find yourself once again, each of you, at a perfect peace. And then the warmth, as you begin to pass in front of the very moon, Lance, not closest you've ever been, as you have touched the moon's surface before, but a massive white thing, a sphere of purity, of beauty reflecting the sun's light, and at this distance of warmth. As this tone rings through the night, feel this warmth to your very bones. And you all just feel at peace.
I know, we've been up here for a while, Bartholomew whispers to you, Euchaunkas. I know it may not feel like it, but it's actually been a few hours now. You haven't been talking much. Should we head back?
I suppose.
Um,
shows up.
Are you ready?
Selcress.
Selcress.
Far away.
This is nice.
I'm going to do a dive off the side of the dragon.
Did Selcress fall asleep?
She's
The gentle rocking of the dragon's body, just
yeah, a little bit.
beautiful.
And as you kind of plummet downwards, Bartholomew, all right, everyone, let's go. And Bartholomew also kind of flies, sidles off of his dragon and begins kind of descending downwards. Euchaunkas land's coming.
Sure.
I'm doing something very fast, and I'm like on fire right now,
Yeah.
like an actual comet.
Everyone else is slowed by the feather fall of Bartholomew, but Kurogan, you fly. Fly faster than you have ever felt before. You feel, even through your armor, you feel it shake and shudder as the force of the wind as you begin to fly down through the atmosphere down toward the earth. You feel an immense heat as your golden
I break
armor-
the sound barrier.
There is a bit of a blast, and then you begin to see the ground quickly approaching you.
I start to slow down so as not to, face like 70 Gs at once and die.
Yeah, you hold out your arms, and your suit enters its kind of defensive measures. You feel yourself quickly slowing down the immense pressure, and when you hit the ground, there is a crack, a reverberating crack and an echo, and you look down at the crater that is now just in the road here in Central City, where you have landed. You feel fine, though.
Everything is fine.
Everyone else.
Yes, I decided I just featherfalled Selcress. I don't know if she had that one. But nothing, no offense, of course, Selcress.
I appreciate not having to waste my own magics on myself. This is the pampering day, so I don't have to do anything.
Yes, and on the subject of which, I thought we could go back to, the Last Hope for a bit of, some dinner.
And of course,
Okay.
you all are aware the Last Hope Tavern has many entrances and exits, not dissimilarly from Bartholomew's shop, although both have their central location out in the forest.
There's an entrance in my house, actually.
Yeah, I mean, Kurogan's is right down the road. And after a brisk walk, it's gotta be very early morning by this time. It's chilly, but it's a welcome chill. The kind of chill that reminds you that you're alive and that the world is fresh and clear. You step through the door of the tavern to find it, once again, mostly empty, with a few small caveats. Roger still sits at the corner. He doesn't seem to have moved a hell of a lot, although he doesn't have a drink anymore. Must have gotten up. You see a table lined up with beautiful delicacies, feasts, a feast beyond fit for kings. Kings have no right to enjoy such a delicious, delicious endeavor. This is a hero's feast, one fit for only the finest. And Bartholomew gestured.
Everything here should be to your liking, I believe. I've got things to all your tastes. Euchaunkas, your meat pile is ready. There's a few surprises in there I think you'll enjoy. As for everyone else, I know you don't have quite so specific tastes. There's certainly, we have about 8 different milks on tap for you, Selcress. Kurogan, Lance, whatever your fancy is, it's here, I promise.
I shall sample all of the milks.
Yes, very good, very good. Please, gather around. Roger, you're not going to at least join us at least for dinner, yes?
Sure. Fine.
Oh, good. Please, everyone, gather around.
I'm going over to Roger and sitting beside him.
Roger's walking over to you all.
Well, I'm going to make sure he sits beside me.
Sure. Roger kind of takes a seat toward the end of the table. Sits down. He looks like internally, he's some sort of internal conflict currently stirring in his mind. He seems at the same time sullen, frustrated, disappointed, and eager.
Yes, very good. Please, all of you, eat your fill. Well, like I said, we have everything you could want. Bartholomew himself doesn't have a plate of food before him, just is drinking out of a glass of red wine that he pours for himself and keeps pouring kind of from the same bottle. Yes, please.
Eternal wine, of course.
Wait, what was that, Alex?
Eternal wine, of course.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. You could try some if you'd like, Kurogan.
I am all right. I do not drink.
Yes.
Roger, you really should have come. It was fun, and there was fluff things and stuff.
I'm glad I didn't go. I'm glad you had it. Look, I'm just gonna take my role, and I'm gonna go over.
Such a spoiled sport tonight. Well, Euchaunkas, Lance, can I interest you in a drink?
A bit of cafe, if you would.
Oh, yes, that's fine.
I'll take a meat slush.
But of course, do you want that spiked or just a meat slush?
I'm good with just a meat slush.
Fair enough. Sometimes it feels odd to be the only one drinking. And he kind of like pours himself a glass. I would like to propose a toast, if you don't mind. You all, well, you've been adventuring in my shop for quite some time now. And, well, if I could bare my soul a bit, I've come to like you. And I would say I consider the four of you friends.
Well, Bartholomew, that is correct. I would also consider you a friend.
Yes. Thank you, Kurogan. So, allow me then to propose a toast to old friends and to new beginnings. And he holds up his glass.
To old friends and...
I'll toast an invisible glass.
Selcress just toasts a milk-filled glass.
To friendship! I mean, peonship!
Very good. Very good. And Bartholomew places his glass down upon the table. And I believe that is where we're going to leave. Yeah.
Our adventure comes to its end. We'll be right back.